Hey Michael, it's March 24th. Hey Michael, really appreciated your last video. I'm sure it is weird, actually. Those two worlds are pretty separate usually, especially in grad school. I remember when mom and dad came to see me perform in an opera in grad school and just feeling like, this is strange. I don't know about all this. And they were kind of like on my turf, so I can imagine for you being like home at dad's, even weirder. But I'm sure you're both doing great, and strange though it is, it's very necessary and it's good, and I'm glad you're both there doing all right. Actually, I think that the discussion we were having before kind of dovetails with this. You know, you are a young, relatively healthy person. We're doing the self-isolation as a country, people like you coming home from school, not because you are in so very much danger, or at least they don't think you're in as much danger as, say, an elderly or unhealthy person, but because it helps that person with the underlying condition or advanced age to be safer. We're doing it because it's in the moral right, not because it's convenient. So it doesn't always have to come down to being martyred like Seneca or Socrates. You could just endure something sort of uncomfortable, or as many people in the country are doing, you could endure unemployment because companies can't keep it up during a time like this. So doing something hard because it's right is really the moral thrust or the intellectual thrust of philosophers, and sort of the moral of the story for those martyrs. I didn't want to let that get past just to say that martyrism is something that happens in philosophy too, and that's all, because I ran out of time. You know, there's a reason to it, a logic to it. But just to tie all these strands together, the moral right has evolved over time. And if you haven't read it, and anybody else that's watching this, I would suggest reading Martha Nussbaum's book, Creating Capabilities, where she outlines her capabilities ethics theory. Because she acknowledges, this is the only theory that I know of that acknowledges the change in ethics over time. Basically, her point is, if you're able to do it, then to whatever extent we are able, as a society, we should allow you to do that thing. So a dog plays and needs exercise. That's why you take it out on a walk and throw a frisbee in the park with your dog. Not because that dog's urge to hunt as an animal needs to be satiated at all costs, but because it's capable of those things, and those things bring it joy and satisfaction, and that's why it has to happen. Same with humans. We can think and talk, argue, love. All those things need to be embraced because we can do them. Previous philosophers did not necessarily have the same notion. They were always looking for a universal rule that they could apply in all cases, and that's very logical. I don't have time to go into it now, but Martha Nussbaum finds a way to have a universal rule which changes and adjusts over time. Not the universality of the rule, but rather its application. And I think that's important, because if we were to adhere just to Stoicism, we might get stuck. For instance, Aristotle advocates for slavery and the patriarchy. Anyway, that's all the time I have for now, but I will see you tomorrow. Wink, wink.